Dream big. Hello everyone, welcome to BIMmodeler.com. In this video tutorial, we'll be discussing the basics of annotations like dimensions, lines, regions, text, and tags. And we also have the commands from the users, from Sundar and from Muhammad and someone named MEP Nyon. And we are able to answer a couple of questions. And for Sundar, for the isometric drawings, I'll be explaining in the next tutorial for the importing and exporting tutorials. And symbolic line I'll be explaining here, and duct pipe sizing will be explained in later some other tutorials. Remaining questions will be answered in this tutorial, so stay tuned and do subscribe BIMmodeler and share it with your learning friends. I hope this tutorial will be helpful. Let's start the tutorial. To create dimension and their settings, we have to go to the annotation tab, and we have all the dimensions options available with Revit in this place. Before creating dimensions, we have to understand that there is an option under the manage unit. We have to be check that what units it is under. You will be able to see the length parameters and other things in this place, and by default settings will be applicable to the dimension styles. So all the available dimensions options are available in this place, and their related settings are available, styles are available in this place. When you want to create dimensions, you have two dimension options. One is you can directly take the dimension and you can draw it. It will show something like this. But you know that when you are selecting objects, it will show the dimensions like this, which is called temporary dimension, and in the other hand, this one called permanent dimensions. The temporary dimensions will be only applicable when you are selecting the object. When you do escape or deselect the object, you will not be able to see the temporary dimensions. Using the temporary dimensions also, you will be able to edit the elements like this, and even using temporary dimensions, you will be able to make them as permanent dimension using this small arrow kind of elements, which is dimensions again. So if you click that, so it will be created as a permanent dimensions. How to create a dimensions? You will be able to take what are the dimensions options you need, take that, and you have a shortcut for each options as well, and click the first element and click the second element and place them wherever you need, and you have to click in the white space or blank space to place the dimension. If you want to make a continuous dimensions, you have to click after one another continuously. It is not like in AutoCAD to choose the another command, so you will be able to place continuous dimension until you finish it in the white space like this. The beauty of dimension is that you will be able to log them. So if you don't want to move this, you can log them. So if the user tries to move it inside or outside, the error will be showing that it cannot be moved. So because the elements are constrained like that. Do cancel this and come back. And when you see that you have different options in the dimensions. One of the options that log we have discussed, and one other option is continuous dimensions we have discussed. Even you will be able to log one in this place, other logs you can remove it as similar to this. In my case, I like to keep this as equal distance. For that reason, you will be able to click this equal symbol, so automatically it will align in equal distance like this. So here the same distance in 3 places, so it will be aligned automatically. While modeling, this will be very helpful that to place the elements in equal distance. For in this case, I suppose to do dimensions to the grid, not to the wall. So how to edit the placed dimensions? You will be able to go to this option, edit witness line, and you will be able to see the constraint like this. You can come back and click once, and you will be able to see that the dimensions are now in your hand. You will be able to place it wherever you need. And as like that, when you see a grips, you will be able to control them. You can stretch it wherever you need, and you will be able to place them. And it is not only applicable to the permanent dimension, it applies to the temporary dimensions as well. You can select the object, and when the temporary dimension shows, you will be able to use the grip and you will be able to place them wherever you need. This helps us to understand or to place the element easily, and you will be able to measure them from particular distance as needed. So how to modify the dimension style? For example, in this case, so it's a line we have in this place as the end mark. We will be able to go to the edit type. We will be able to change this, or we can go to this annotate tab underneath here. So we did align dimensions, so you can do check that. And in this case, I'm going to edit this type, and I'm going to change the same settings here. And you know that it shows in millimeter because by default, as I said, it is unit format is coming from the default settings as millimeter. I like to change this one settings. For example, I like to change this arrow in each end, and you will be able to see that the tick marks, witness lines, so like that, the settings are available in this place. So what you like to change is the line, which is for the arrow. So it is arc type that we have here, and in this place. And if I go and change the tick mark, I need 30-degree tick mark, and the tick mark should be filled in like this. And if you need any other settings to be changed related to the witness line, related to the straight line, and related to the arrows, you'll be able to change their size and length and colors. Everything settings will be available here. Now I like to change the dimensions from millimeter to unit only for this dimension. So let's say I'm going to keep this as decimal inches or fractional inches in this case. Like to go with the single unit. If you need an additional unit, you will be able to enable this alternative unit, and you will be able to go ahead, select OK. Now if you see that the arrows are created and the dimensions unit got changed into inches. This way, so we edited the already existing styles. So by default, if you want to edit, so you should duplicate and do that. As you know that from the beginning in Revit, you have to duplicate. Otherwise, the existing elements will change. I'll make Control Z in this place to go back, and we'll be able to get the dimensions back to the same settings. I hope that you know the difference between the linear and aligned. So the linear will be the straight elements. So when I have to select the elements which are straight, so I'll be able to pick it up using the linear dimensions, not as aligned. So the angular dimension is the angle between the two elements like this, and you will get the angle as simple as you need it. The remaining settings for edit type and everything will be same. Changing the setting will be same to that, and you don't have to learn one by one necessarily. Angular dimensions, so when we are taking the any dimensions or any selection option, you know that the tab key will be very useful. So when I have the multiple object in this place, and if I want to select a specific element, when you're selecting the wall or when you're selecting the complex geometry, so you need a specific space, so you have to use the tab key to change the control from one face to the other face like this. But in this case, by default, Revit automatically detects the center line. So the settings will be wall center line. So it detects the center line. Each and every time you don't have to change the settings here to detect the face. So you just use the tab key, and you will be able to select the end line of the object like this. And I can pick the radius. I'll be able to measure it. So the settings will be similar, and nothing much difference with the other dimensions. The only thing is that you have to know that spot elevation will be very useful to find out the elevation of the object that you are selecting, the face of the object that you are selecting. It may be a face or it may be a edge line. And if you see that the leader is ticked on, so if I select it, and I'll be able to place them like this. I can go ahead, edit type, and I will be able to change their tick as well. So it's an arrow filled 15-degree. Let me select that and select OK. Spot coordinate, it shows us the coordinate system of the specified place. It could be any point in the project. Slope, if you have a sloped pipe, you have to mention this option and you have to show them what slope it is in. Usually it will be shown in the architecture roof slope values. Similarly, we will be able to use it for pipe slope as well. Do let me know if any questions that you have related to dimensions. In this session, we will be learning the Revit lines. In Revit, by default, there are different lines available. You know that under the project, architecture, or any space, you'll be having the model line, and you'll be having the annotation tab, and you'll be having the detail line. And if you are in the family environment, you will have the annotation tab, symbolic line in this place, and in the create tab, you will be having the model line. It is important that we should understand the difference between these lines. So I have made a difference between these lines a table. A symbolic line visible only in drawn view and their parallel views. For example, if you are drawing that in the front view, if you are making any section view into that, and you will be able to see that they're parallel views as well. I will show you the example in later time. But that in the other hand, detail line will be only shown in drawn view. So it is a view specific element. And model lines will be visible in all views. Specifically, it will be visible in 3D views as well. And symbolic line will be available in the family editors, and detail line will be available in project and sometime in family as well, and model line applicable in family editors and project editors as well. Symbolic lines will be used to create the symbols like 2D symbols as such, electrical symbols, or duct arrows, or it could be anything, break symbols, or architectural door symbols, window symbols. It could be anything. Detail line, in the other hand, it is not used for symbols as some companies are using for symbols, but details are used for creating the detail purpose, like creating a detail views and creating a detail views for ducts and other elements to define the element details. Model lines will be used for representing the elements in 3D and how it shows and how it appears. All these lines will be controlled from the object style, line style, and the related options line width as well under the manage tab. With that, let me show you the example. I have here a project which is in the floor plan. I have placed a door. If you see that the door will have a symbols in their front view to how to open this element, and if you draw a line in this place, normal annotation, detail line, the line will not be visible in any parallel views. It will be applicable to only, it will not be visible in the next levels because that's the parallel view. But if you, on the other hand, the symbolic lines used in this family, if I open the section view, I will be able to see the symbolic line symbol. It means you will be able to see at any number of parallel views, but you will not be able to see it on the other hand. So the plan symbol will not be able to visible in the perpendicular views. But if you go to the 3D of the same project, and if you draw any model lines in the floor plan, for example, go to the architectural tab or any tabs if you have model lines. If you draw a line, as I mentioned, each lines will have their own styles, line styles. You'll be able to change it to any styles. And if you go to the 3D, you'll be able to see the model lines here. If I go to the annotation tab, so you'll not be able to draw the detail line, but if you wanted to do, there is an option. I'll be explaining you in later. Let me come back, and if you see that when you select this model line and you have an option to convert this line into a detail line, if you select a detail line, you have an option to convert that into a model line. You just click, it will be converted. If I go to the 3D option, now you see that both model lines will be visible. We have discussed the detail view, creating the detail views in earlier sessions. You can go to the creating views and options and you will be able to understand how to use these lines and draw lines. I hope everyone knows how to create lines because that's the basic thing that we learned. To create a region, it is very easy. You have a different option, fill region or masking regions. It is nothing but a hatch in AutoCAD. You can just select the fill pattern. The only disadvantage is in AutoCAD you will be able to click inside the closed region, automatically it will be populated, but in Revit you have to draw it manually. But in this case, I'm going to draw a region as rectangular like this, and I will be able to select an object, and you will be able to draw any shape that you need from this point, from here, and you will be able to pick any line type that you needed and you can draw it. This section, like in the left side property, you will be able to see that filled region vertical option is selected. There are different types available. You will be able to create your own types from the edit type option in this place. I can use the same type. I'll be able to finish this, and if you see that by default it is vertically line. I need a cross line, so or concrete patterns. I like to go and see that there is no concrete pattern in this place for the roof. I'm going to the edit type. I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to save this as concrete, and I'm going to see a pattern option in this place. I'll be going here, and you can see that the sand and everything options are available. And I need to check that. So we are in the drafting view. So I'm looking at the options available for the concrete in the drafting. In a model view, so if you go to the model view, the patterns will be scaling based on the scale value you're changing. Let me go ahead and select the concrete in this place and go ahead and apply that concrete to the concrete type, select OK. Now the concrete pattern which is applied. And the another important thing is that when you have a hatch pattern, you know, underneath that you have another lines which we may not be needing it. It is necessary that you have to make a copy. I need to explain it to you that each hatch patterns will have a boundary lines like in AutoCAD, and you will be able to change their type. So you'll be able to make them as invisible as also. Finish it. Now if you see that your hatch pattern will not have the right side boundary line. The lines will be there, but it is invisible in the view. So one of the line style which is called invisible, you will be able to use it when you need it. While we are discussing the pattern, so you will be able to know that the masking region is nothing but it will mask the position that you needed. So you can drag it like this to show a penetration in this place or opening in this place for the roof element like this. And if you see that I don't want to see the dot lines which is in the top side, and you will be able to do it as like in the previous time. While we are in the drafting view, I like to explain you that the symbols, how to use these 2D annotation symbols in the drafting view. So symbols are nothing but it could be a north arrow, it could be any lines, or it could be a parametric object as well, but it is in generic annotation. So you have to use it as generic annotation. For example, if you are creating an electrical schematic, you will be able to use the symbol and to place the motor or to place a switch. Or if you are using the schematic creating for duct HVAC ducts, you can create your own symbol for ducts, air terminal, and equipment, VAV equipment as box, a simple box, it represents the same. So you will be able to load them if it is available. And you know that it is a generic object, so you have to check in the annotation option and you have to go to the electrical. In this case, I'm going to looking for the about switch and pump or any elements which is related to motor or something. So I'll be loading it to show you the example. So in this case, even thermostat for HVAC, you can take it. Is it? Make sure that it is not tag, it is generic annotation. And I have the motor annotation as well. Let me load this. And if you see that the about switch and we have for motor and we have thermostat. So like this, you will be able to place them and you can go to the annotation and you will be able to create the lines, control lines if you need it, like this between the families. And you will be able to create your schematic diagrams. I like to explain this creating schematic diagrams in separate tutorial, but this is the overview that how we can use this symbol icon and you will be able to create your schematic. In this session, you will be learning how to create this text in this. And you can take the text and you will be able to place the text wherever you need, and you have to specify their types and size which is available in this place, and just click that text and you will be able to have the options in this place. As like in Excel, you will be having the bullet points, numbering points, and left alignment, right alignments options, bold, italic, and underlines. Very limited options will be there, and superscript and small to caps options will be also available in this place. You can close the text editor like this, or you can simply type and you can click outside in the blank space. You'll be able to use the arrows, these multiple options with the arc and without bends and with the 2-point arcs like this, and you'll be able to type that duct like this. And we can give a notes, the text will be used for notes, so we can say that duct must be small in size. The text size looks bigger, so we'll be able to change their size as per the required standards like this. And you will be able to stretch it, this position, and you'll be able to change it like this. You'll be able to use the grip and you can move it wherever you need it like this. You have the text settings in edit types in this place, transparent or opaque. This is an important option that we will be using continuously, and changing the font and changing the text styles we will be using continuously like in this place. You know that it is a text editor, so you'll be able to use the check spelling options and you'll be able to use the find and replace options from here. In this session, we will be discussing about the taggings. The taggings are most important one in Revit and most useful option in Revit. So we will be seeing couple of examples, starting with the example of space and their related taggings. If you select in the model, you will be able to overlap and you will be able to select the space like this. It's a space element, but if you see that the space doesn't have a name. So you will have the annotation and you will be having the tag by category option here, or you have a space tag directly in this place. You can use the space tag and you will be able to hover, so you will be able to see the spaces and their names like this. And you can just click inside the space, you'll be able to place the taggings like this one by one. But you know that it is very hard to place hundreds of tags for each space, so we have to place them automatically in somehow. So you can go to the tag by category, it detects the element and creates the tag one by one like this. The element that you are trying to place, so automatically it will detect and it will place the tags. But make sure that every element is having the tags when you are hovering. But this is the option that we are looking for, tag all. I like to tag all object in the current view, not from the linked model. I like to click only the space tag. I don't want to tag any other elements. And I will be able to select just apply or OK. Once I do that, you know that it's a beautiful thing that it doesn't apply any tags for the already existing places, but it applied for the remaining rooms like this. But you have to do that manually alignment. If it disturbs your elements like this, you have to align it manually like here. By default, it places in the center of the space like this. We have placed in this place in this view. So this is one of the questions from the user, like how to copy a tag from one view to the other view, or any elements from one view to the other views. For in this case, I'm selecting the tag. I'm going to right click and select similar option. So I have to select only the in current view. So I'm going to select all instance in the visible view. I have selected space tags, and there are 30 number of space tags I have selected. I can use the copy button here. We have explained this full tutorial, all copy options and pasting options in a different tutorial in the same playlist of Revit MEP. And I can copy this, and you have to go to the view which you want to paste. For in this case, all HVAC level 1 will be a same rooms, which will have same rooms. Even electrical will have the same rooms. I can copy that and paste it here. I can say that current view, so that it will be placed on the exact place like this. And I can go to the any other views, like for example in this case electrical lighting plan. I'm opening the level 1, so we need a space here, so I can go back and paste it in the current view. So as I said, you have to manually move this some of the tags to align them properly without disturbing the main elements. Coming back to the main view, and I have to tag remaining elements, such as for ducts I have to specify their size and height. I can go and say tag by category. I can select one by one. This is the bottom of the duct. I can place them with the leader like this. And I can go here and I can place it here. But it doesn't show any sizes. I can go ahead and look for the any other tags. After selecting the tag, you'll be able to look for any other tags. Yes, there is a tag which shows duct size. Now it shows only the duct size in this place. But I like to show both the tags. So I like to edit this tag. I'm going to use the save as option because I don't want to disturb the existing one. So this tag only for the size, I'm going to add it with the bottom of the duct tag as well. I'm going to save this into my desktop. I can add another label or edit the existing label. I'm looking for the size, and I'm also looking for the bottom of the duct, so which is bottom elevation, I believe. Add into the list. The bottom elevations could be say 3 digits in millimeters, say like this. It is a sample value, or you can say at symbol. So we can add a prefix to this at symbol in this place. I can load this into the project. So this is the first time we are loading. Going back to the HVAC duct layout. Now if you see that every duct will have their size and their elevation bottom of the duct value in this place. So by using this one by one in the annotation option, tag all, tag by category, you have to go one by one and you have to select them like this. This is air terminal tag. It shows the liters per second, the flow rate, and I will be able to place them like this. Now I can go ahead, tag all, and I will be able to select tag all air terminal and select OK. Now it will automatically populate all the air terminals tags. But if you say that there is no proper leader to the air terminal to see where it is coming from, or it is not properly placed in the right position, so it is better to place them one by one, align them instead of placing and after aligning. I prefer to go with one by one and placing them. So in this case, I have to go and align like this. I want to make sure that this is the host. You know that there is an option in this place, select host. I'll be making sure that this is the host, so I'll be placing them exactly nearby like this. So this is how you'll be able to annotate in your 2D plan using the tags. You know, the tags is nothing but it uses the property of the elements. The property is nothing but the parameters. It could be any parameter from here. It supports some of the parameter, it doesn't support some of the parameters. So you'll be able to support all the parameters using Dynamo, and in separate tutorials, if you have seen it earlier, Dynamo options and their usabilities. So mostly these all options will come from the parameters. So mostly it will work with the shared parameter option. So you should learn shared parameter, how it does works. If you need a custom parameter, your own parameter in this place. So I have a tutorial about shared parameters and what is project parameter, all the comparison in our channel. Do search it, and if I possibly apply, and you will be able to learn it much more detail. The tagging, texting and making a dimension is everything is same to the other discipline as well, for pipe and electrical discipline as well. So you'll be able to use them as a practice. You can go ahead to their plan and you'll be able to place the respective elements for their taggings, and you'll be able to document them as you need it. Keep it ready for our sheets tutorial. With this, we have only one settings remaining from the user request: how to do the detailing or annotation in the 3D views. To create an annotation or detailing in the 3D view, you have to create a 3D view, one of the things that we have discussed earlier. So, or you can select like this the elements that you want to detail it in 3D, and use the section box option. You know that if you click this button, automatically it opens the default 3D view like this. You can look for the default 3D which is parenthesis with the 3D like this, and you will be able to rename that 3D detail. You can zoom in and you will be able to see the elements like this. To detail, I don't need I don't want to show the architectural element. I can go to the visibility graphics VV, and I can turn off the roof and floor, ceiling. If it is needed, we can turn off the wall as well. But in my case, I like to show the shaded view like this. I like to show only the HVAC components in my requirement. So I can go ahead and show only the HVAC components. So I can turn off the wall as well. I can turn off the lighting. And column is still visible. And I can select it, right click and say it's a structural column. So I can say hide in view the category. And this as well, hide in view category. I like to detail that only in this place. So I like to keep this as like this. Even we are working with the detail view, so I can show this as a equipment. So I have selected one element, I think it's a duct, and this way this is the equipment we have. So I'll be able to select them and right click. I'll be saying override the element, only this element. I can go ahead and apply some overriding material for the foreground, like maybe a red color or blue color, the colors that you want to highlight them as equipment. And pattern will be solid, can apply that. Now if you see that this is going to be a equipment which is highlighted in blue. If you want to highlight the ducts as supply and return, you will be able to do that a similar way by selecting and right clicking override elements. So coming to the question, so how do we make sure that we tag in 3D, we use the text in 3D and or the other options. Make a positions at what direction that you want to do the taggings and textings in detailing. So you can go ahead here and you should change this projection from perspective orthographic. You will be able to do only in orthographic view the detailing options. If you see on the top annotations, in annotations there is no detail lines or dimensions. When I change and apply this, now you will be able to see these options enabled. So once if you are enabling this, and you will be able to do the dimensions here, the people should not change this position. So I'm going to keep it like this. I'll be locking this view like this. Now you will be able to use pan and extend, but you will not be able to rotate it by holding the shift key, or you will not be able to click these buttons. The view will be locked. And now you will be able to use this option to show fine. Let me see, the pipe works like this. Still cable tray remains, if you can turn it off. And I can go ahead and use the dimensions, align dimensions. I'll be able to measure it like this. But when you are measuring, you will not be able to see a proper dimensions like in a proper position. So use the set work plane option from the system tab or architectural tab, set work plane, and use the pick plane. Okay, set the work plane that the dimensions should be appearing. So in this case, I'm going to set it in the right side view or in the top view. I'm using the tab key to highlight the element like this, and I'm going to take the dimensions using DI shortcut. Now if I select it like this, now you see the dimensions appears nearly to the elements. The scale value, it is 1:5. Let me change this into 1:25. We will be able to see the text or the dimensions properly. I like to turn off the level in the annotation tab, level element, and the model category, cable tray fittings, and the pipe should be appearing because it's connecting with the element. I can do the text under the annotations. I'll be able to do the text, and I can say with the leader, I can click here, say plenum box. I can change their size as usual. I'll be able to do the other dimensions to the other end like this. So when you are doing for the other element dimensions, for example in this case here, you have to do set work plane to this element so that it will be easy. Set work plane, pick a plane, okay, select this side, then make a dimensions from the annotation. In this way, you will be able to do the necessary annotations, and you will be able to place it here. Tag by category. This is an equipment, or this is a duct work. You can tag it like this. I like to keep it in this direction. Here. Here. Without leader, I like to place the tag here, text here. I can turn off the section box because I needed this, so I can go ahead, VV, annotation, section box. I can turn it off, or right click, hide in view, category, it will be turned off. Once it is done, so if you wanted to unlock this view, you will be able to do it by clicking this unlock view, and by doing that you will be losing the tags, but the dimensions remains in the same position, text remains in the same position. If you rotate it, you will see that the elements are going in some other directions. So to move it to the same positions, you have to come back here and say restore orientation and lock view. So all elements will come back to the same position. That's it. I hope this tutorial helped you. Do share it with your learning friends, and do subscribe to bimodeler.com, like this video and share it with your learning friends. Happy learning. See you on the next tutorial.